President Trump says the United States needs Greenland for international security.
We need Greenland for national security and international security.
Greenland, an island of mystique and icy landscapes, has suddenly become the focus of a surprising and significant global move.
Greenland, the world's largest island, is suddenly the belle of the geopolitical ball.
The United States has taken drastic action, closing down Greenland to outsiders. But what's behind this shocking turn of events? Could a recent discovery on this icy land be the catalyst?
President Trump has been talking tough about taking control of Greenland as U.S. territory.
The U.S. had planned to place hundreds of nuclear-armed ballistic missiles in tunnels under the ice.
Greenland is not a place many associate with mystery. Known primarily for its ice-capped peaks and glaciers, it's easy to dismiss this vast island as nothing more than a remote, inhospitable landmass. However, the reality beneath the surface is far more complex. Greenland is not only the world's largest island, but also holds a unique geographical and political position that has caught the eye of global powers for centuries. The island's vast expanse is dominated by a colossal ice sheet that spans more than 80% of its surface area, creating an almost impenetrable barrier for anyone seeking to explore its true potential. The ice sheet is not static. It's constantly in motion, feeding glaciers that extend outward toward the sea. Some of the most massive glaciers, such as the Jakobshavn Glacier, move forward at an astonishing rate, up to 100 feet every single day. This movement is what gives Greenland its raw and untamed feel, a reminder of the forces of nature at play. The frozen landscape may seem uninhabitable, but life thrives in the small pockets of ice-free land along its rugged coastline. Despite its harsh conditions, Greenland has always had a rich history. For centuries, it has been the home of the Inuit people, who have adapted to the island's extreme environment. Their resilience and resourcefulness are a testament to the ability of human cultures to survive and thrive even in the most unforgiving climates. Greenland's geography and climate are so extreme that only about 20% of its land is ice-free and habitable. This small region, however, is enough to sustain a community of around 56,000 people. But as alluring as its frozen beauty may be, the true treasure of Greenland lies beneath its thick layers of ice. Scientists and researchers have long speculated about the potential wealth of resources hidden within the island's ice sheets. Greenland is rich in minerals like gold, copper, uranium, and rare earth elements, materials essential for modern technology and defense industries. As global warming accelerates, the melting ice opens up the possibility of accessing these resources, and the world is beginning to take notice. What is hidden beneath Greenland's icy surface that has attracted the attention of the world's superpowers? Let's explore why Greenland is becoming more valuable than ever. The United States' strategic interests in Greenland. Greenland has always been strategically important, but the United States has perhaps the most vested interest in the island's future. The US military's presence in Greenland goes back to World War II, when the US established several military bases, including the vital Thule Air Base. This base has been crucial for both monitoring Soviet missile activity during the Cold War and, more recently, for military operations in the Arctic. Despite the island's small population, its geographical position between North America and Europe has made it a key location for global defense strategy. In recent years, the United States has ramped up its focus on Greenland once again, primarily due to the growing importance of the Arctic region. As global temperatures rise, the Arctic is becoming more accessible, opening up new shipping routes that could transform global trade. With the melting ice, traditional shipping lanes through the Panama Canal are being supplemented by shorter routes through the Arctic, cutting travel time by weeks. This has led to renewed US interest in controlling key Arctic territories, including Greenland. Greenland's natural resources also play a major role in this interest. Beneath its ice sheets, the island is believed to be sitting on vast untapped reserves of oil, natural gas, and minerals. These resources are vital for a range of industries, including electronics, energy production, and military defense. The United States, with its insatiable demand for rare earth metals and energy resources, sees Greenland as an important asset for future economic and strategic dominance. Additionally, Greenland's location makes it a strategic military outpost in the event of rising tensions between global superpowers, particularly between the United States, Russia, and China. The Arctic has become a new front for military strategy, with both Russia and China increasing their military presence in the region. Greenland, sitting at the northernmost tip of the North American continent, holds immense value for the US in terms of missile defense systems, early warning systems, and military defense infrastructure. But why did the US decide to take such drastic measures with Greenland? What's the discovery that pushed the US to make such an extreme move? The discovery that shocked the world. The discovery that has caused such a stir involves something so monumental that it could change the course of Greenland's future. This recent revelation involves an unexpected finding deep within Greenland's ice. It was a discovery that surprised even the most seasoned scientists, something that could significantly impact the way the world views Greenland, both strategically and economically. While researchers have always known about Greenland's vast resources, recent advancements in ice core sampling and satellite imagery have uncovered something unexpected. Scientists drilling into Greenland's ice sheet recently uncovered a strange anomaly, evidence suggesting that beneath the ice, there could be large deposits of materials that were previously unknown. This discovery has sent shockwaves through the scientific community, as it suggests that Greenland could be sitting on a gold mine of untapped resources far beyond what was initially believed. In fact, the evidence indicates that Greenland's mineral wealth may be far more significant than previously imagined, with the potential to drastically shift the balance of global resources. The discovery came from a joint international research team that was conducting a detailed study of the island's ice sheets. By analyzing ice core samples and data collected from drilling projects, the researchers discovered an unusually high concentration of rare minerals deep within the layers of ice. These minerals are not only valuable for industries like technology and defense, but they also have applications in renewable energy, a sector that is expected to grow exponentially in the coming decades. The United States, already deeply invested in Greenland due to its military and strategic importance, quickly recognized the implications of this discovery. It's no surprise that the US government was one of the first to take action. The potential economic benefits, coupled with the growing importance of Greenland's position in the Arctic, made the island an even more valuable commodity. It was clear that whoever controlled Greenland could control a significant portion of the world's critical resources. Following the shocking discovery, the United States made an unexpected and dramatic move by shutting down Greenland. This wasn't just a simple diplomatic gesture, it was a strategic action that sent ripples across the world. The decision to close Greenland off to external access was unprecedented, and no one could have predicted it. But why would the US go to such lengths? Was it solely due to the newfound mineral wealth, or was there a deeper reason behind the decision? For years, Greenland has been an island of potential, filled with untapped resources, but it wasn't until this recent discovery that its true value became apparent. The US government, in a move that shocked not only Denmark and Greenland, but the entire international community, decided to take control of the island's resources, effectively preventing other countries from gaining a foothold in the region. The United States' action was swift and decisive, and it raised questions about what was truly at stake. Experts speculate that the US feared that foreign powers, particularly Russia and China, could use the discovery as a stepping stone to dominate the Arctic. The Arctic is becoming an increasingly important region for trade, military strategy, and natural resources. As global tensions rise, the US saw Greenland's newfound importance as a critical asset that could tip the balance of power in the region. The shutdown of Greenland could have profound implications for the future of the island. The US has placed strict restrictions on who can access Greenland, with many fearing that this action could lead to a new era of Arctic militarization. For the people of Greenland, the move has sparked heated debates about sovereignty and self-determination. While some argue that the US is protecting the island from foreign exploitation, others believe that the island's resources should belong to Greenlanders, not foreign powers. Will Greenland's future be controlled by the United States, Or will the island's people rise up and demand full control? The global reaction. The global response to the United States' decision to close down Greenland has been nothing short of polarized. On one hand, the US has justified its actions as necessary for national security and economic stability, arguing that the island's resources are critical for future technological advancements. On the other hand, Denmark and Greenland's government have expressed outrage, claiming that the move undermines their sovereignty and threatens Greenland's independence. Many nations have voiced concerns over the US's growing influence in the Arctic, particularly given the strategic and economic importance of the region. Countries like Russia and China, both of whom have long had an interest in the Arctic for its natural resources and military significance, are watching closely. These nations are likely to see the US's actions as an escalation of military presence and influence in the region, potentially leading to a new Cold War-style standoff. In Greenland itself, public opinion is divided. Some people view the USS's actions as a necessary safeguard to protect their land from foreign exploitation, while others see it as an infringement on their rights and independence. Greenland has long been seeking greater autonomy from Denmark, and many fear that the US's involvement could further complicate their struggle for full independence. The shutdown has also raised questions about the future of global climate change initiatives. As the Arctic melts and opens up new opportunities for resource extraction, the environmental implications of increased activity in the region are significant. Will the US and other countries be able to balance economic and strategic interests with the urgent need for sustainable environmental practices? The recent move by the United States to take control over Greenland has sent shockwaves through the geopolitical landscape, especially in the Arctic. The Arctic region, long overlooked by many world powers, is becoming a new focal point for strategic, military, and economic interests. The rapidly changing climate has made previously inaccessible areas more viable for exploration, and Greenland is right in the heart of this transformation. This change has not only caught the attention of the US but also Russia, China, and other global powers who are now competing for influence in this vital region. The Arctic has long been a strategic area for military defense, especially for missile detection systems. The United States has had a presence in Greenland since World War II, when it built the Thule Air Base, one of the most strategically important US military bases during the Cold War. The Thule Base continues to serve as an essential component in US military operations, particularly in tracking Russian missile launches. As global tensions increase, the importance of Greenland's location has only grown. The US sees Greenland as a critical piece in maintaining its edge over adversaries, particularly Russia, whose military presence in the Arctic has been increasing in recent years. Meanwhile, China has also set its sights on the Arctic. The growing Chinese interest in the region, particularly for its natural resources, has caused alarm in Western nations. China has been investing heavily in infrastructure, including Arctic shipping routes that cut through Greenland and its neighboring countries. Some analysts suggest that China's presence in the Arctic could be linked to its larger Belt and Road Initiative, aiming to control key global shipping lanes and secure access to untapped resources. In this context, Greenland's ice sheet, once considered an insurmountable barrier, is now seen as a gateway to riches and strategic positioning for several powers, and the US is determined to maintain control. As the Arctic becomes more navigable due to climate change, Greenland's role in global trade and military strategy is poised to grow. With the shrinking ice cap, new shipping routes are opening up, and Greenland is positioned along these paths, which reduces travel time between Europe, North America, and Asia. This makes the island not only a critical military asset, but also an economic powerhouse in the making. The discovery of valuable minerals and oil beneath the ice sheet is further fueling the rush for control over this remote land. The US, with its military and strategic foothold, is poised to dominate this emerging Arctic frontier. How will global superpowers navigate the new Arctic frontier? And will Greenland's future be decided by military strategy or economic interests? Climate change and Greenland's new role. As we've seen, Greenland is a crucial player in the future of global geopolitics. but one of the most significant changes in recent years has been the environmental transformation occurring on the island. Climate change is dramatically altering the Arctic, and Greenland is no exception. Over the past several decades, Greenland has experienced an unprecedented rate of ice melt. Satellite imagery from recent years shows alarming rates of ice loss, with 2012 being a particularly devastating year. In fact, 97% of Greenland's ice sheet showed signs of melting, nearly double the usual amount. Scientists have warned that if current trends continue, the entire island's ice sheet could be at risk, with profound global consequences. This accelerated ice melt has revealed not only potential environmental disasters, but also hidden treasures that were previously inaccessible. As the ice recedes, it exposes valuable resources, such as rare earth minerals, oil, and natural gas, which are essential for industries worldwide. The global demand for these resources has spurred renewed interest in Greenland, especially from countries with advanced technology industries and military interests. The economic potential of Greenland's resources is staggering, and the US sees this as an opportunity to solidify its position as a global leader in the energy sector, with a particular focus on securing access to critical rare earth minerals. However, the environmental impact of such resource extraction is a major concern. The rapid melting of Greenland's ice sheet is contributing to rising sea levels, threatening coastlines around the world. The Arctic region is warming at a rate 2 to 3 times faster than the global average, which raises the question, at what cost will these valuable resources come? The US, in particular, must balance its economic interests with its environmental responsibilities. As global powers vie for control of Greenland's resources, the environmental cost could have far-reaching consequences. The island is not just a geopolitical asset, it is a bellwether for the health of the planet, and its future could determine the fate of the entire Arctic region. The United States has found itself in a difficult position. It must secure Greenland's resources while considering the broader implications of climate change. The US government's recent actions to shut down access to Greenland may be as much about resource protection as it is about ensuring that it retains control over the island. If Greenland's resources are allowed to fall into the hands of rival nations, particularly those without strong environmental regulations, the consequences could be catastrophic, not just for Greenland, but for the world's ecosystem. In this way, the US may see its role in Greenland as not just a matter of national security, but as a critical step in mitigating global climate change. With climate change accelerating Greenland's transformation, will the United States' actions in the Arctic region help or harm the planet's future? Greenland's strategic importance and the economic rush. In addition to its geopolitical significance, Greenland's economic potential has caught the attention of the world's most powerful nations. As global demand for natural resources grows, Greenland's mineral wealth is becoming more and more valuable. Recent geological surveys suggest that the island is rich in materials essential for modern technologies, such as rare earth elements, uranium, and gold. These materials are critical for the production of everything from smartphones to renewable energy technologies, and their extraction has the potential to reshape the global economy. The US government has been particularly vocal about the importance of securing these resources. As a world leader in technology, defense, and renewable energy industries, the US recognizes that access to these materials is essential for maintaining its competitive edge. For years, Greenland has been a hidden treasure trove of natural resources, but with climate change melting the ice and making extraction more feasible, the stakes have never been higher. The US is already ramping up its military presence in the Arctic to ensure that it remains in control of Greenland's wealth. However, Greenland's resources are not just a matter of minerals. The island also holds vast untapped potential in terms of oil and gas reserves. As the Arctic ice recedes, previously unreachable oil deposits are becoming accessible. The United States, with its growing energy demands, sees this as an opportunity to secure its future energy needs. Greenland's untapped oil reserves could be the key to ensuring that the US remains an energy powerhouse for decades to come. While the US has long been involved in Greenland's defense and strategic planning, the recent discovery of new mineral and energy resources has elevated the island's value even further. The race to control Greenland's resources is on, and the US is not the only player in this game. Russia and China are also keenly interested in Greenland's future, with both nations expanding their military and economic activities in the Arctic. The competition for control over Greenland's resources is heating up, and it's clear that the island's future will play a significant role in shaping global economic and military power in the coming decades. As global powers battle for control over Greenland's resources, will the US secure its dominance? Or will new players emerge to challenge its position? Sovereignty or secession? The question of sovereignty in Greenland has been a topic of heated debate for years. While Greenland is officially part of the Kingdom of Denmark, it has a high degree of autonomy and governs many aspects of its internal affairs. However, as the island's value increases due to its natural resources and strategic importance, the question of whether Greenland should remain part of Denmark or pursue full independence has become more pressing. Greenlanders, who have long held a distinct cultural identity, are divided on the issue of full independence from Denmark. In recent years, Greenland's push for greater autonomy has gained momentum. In 2008, Greenlanders voted overwhelmingly in favor of greater self-governance, resulting in a new Home Rule agreement that granted the island more control over its domestic affairs. While this move was a significant step toward independence, it did not resolve the larger issue of Greenland's relationship with Denmark, particularly when it comes to issues such as foreign policy and natural resource management. With the recent surge in interest from global superpowers, many Greenlanders are now questioning whether remaining under Denmark's rule is in their best interests. On the other hand, some Greenlanders believe that full independence from Denmark could open the door to new opportunities, particularly in terms of controlling their resources and determining their future. The US has made it clear that it would be open to supporting Greenland's independence, especially if the island were to choose to join the United States. While this offer has been met with resistance, particularly from Denmark, the possibility of full independence is a topic that will only become more relevant as Greenland's resources continue to attract global attention. In the midst of this political turmoil, the United States has stepped up its involvement in Greenland, providing military and economic support while also making overtures about the possibility of Greenland joining the US. This has sparked controversy in Greenland, where many residents fear that they could lose their independence to a new, more powerful landlord. The question of whether Greenland will remain part of Denmark or strike out on its own, and whether the US will play a role in this decision, will likely shape the island's future for years to come. As Greenland stands at the crossroads of sovereignty and secession, what will the future hold for the island and its people? Can they navigate the global powers vying for control? Voices of autonomy. The future of Greenland is not just a matter of geopolitics or resource extraction. It's about the people who call this vast and icy land their home. The Inuit people of Greenland have a rich cultural heritage that has sustained them for centuries, and they are determined to preserve their way of life. While Greenland has long been a place of strategic importance, the people who live there are keenly aware of the challenges that come with global attention. For many Greenlanders, the idea of full independence is appealing, but they also recognize the complexities involved in navigating such a move. The island's population, which hovers around 56,000, is small, but fiercely proud of its unique cultural identity. Greenlanders speak Kala-Alisut, an Inuit language that reflects their deep connection to the land. In recent years, there has been a growing movement to ensure that Greenland's culture and traditions are preserved in the face of globalization. Greenlanders see themselves as the stewards of their land, and they want to ensure that any decisions made about their future are in their best interests. While some Greenlanders are open to the idea of greater ties with the United States, many others are hesitant. The idea of joining the US may sound appealing from an economic standpoint, but it would come at the cost of Greenland's autonomy. For many, the question of whether to remain under Denmark's sovereignty or seek independence is a deeply personal one. The US's growing involvement in Greenland has only added to the complexity of the debate, with some seeing it as a chance for economic prosperity and others fearing that it could lead to the island being absorbed into another global power. As Greenland grapples with the question of sovereignty, what does the future hold for the people who live there? Will they be able to preserve their autonomy in a world of powerful interests? A tipping point for Greenland. Greenland has long been a symbol of the Earth's unspoiled beauty, a place where nature's raw power is on display. However, the island's environment is changing at an unprecedented rate, putting its future in jeopardy. The island's ice sheet, which covers about 4/5 of its landmass, is melting at a rapid pace, contributing to rising sea levels worldwide. The environmental consequences of this rapid ice melt are profound not only for Greenland, but also for the global community. If the ice continues to melt at current rates, it could cause sea levels to rise by several meters, displacing millions of people living in coastal areas around the world. This environmental dilemma presents a unique challenge for Greenland, which must balance its economic ambitions with the need to protect its delicate ecosystem. The US and other countries vying for Greenland's resources have to confront a stark reality. The very resources they seek come with significant environmental costs. Extracting oil, minerals, and rare earth elements from Greenland's melting ice sheet could accelerate the island's transformation from a frozen land to an increasingly unstable one. For the people of Greenland, this is a deeply personal issue. Many of them have lived with the ice for centuries, and its rapid disappearance threatens not only their environment, but their way of life. As the ice recedes, the permafrost beneath the surface is thawing, causing the land to shift. These shifts are creating new environmental risks, including the potential for landslides, increased flooding, and the release of methane gas trapped beneath the ice, which could further exacerbate global warming. Despite the grim environmental outlook, the lure of Greenland's untapped resources continues to drive foreign interest in the island. Countries like the US, Russia, and China are focused on exploiting these resources to fuel their economic growth and technological advancements. However, as the effects of climate change become more apparent, there is increasing pressure on these nations to ensure that any economic ventures in Greenland do not come at the expense of the island's fragile environment. The future of Greenland is at a tipping point, and its destiny will be shaped by the decisions made today about how to balance economic development with environmental protection. The future of Greenland is inextricably linked to the ongoing global power struggles that are reshaping the geopolitical landscape. The US, China, Russia, and even Denmark all have a vested interest in what happens to the island. As the world becomes increasingly interconnected, Greenland's role as a key player in the Arctic region has become more prominent than ever. This island, with its vast natural resources and strategic location, could be at the center of a new global order that balances military power, economic influence, and environmental concerns. The competition for Greenland's resources has led to a heightened sense of urgency, with each nation racing to establish dominance in the Arctic. The US, in particular, views Greenland as essential to its national security, given its proximity to the North Pole and its importance in missile defense strategy. The US military has long had a presence in Greenland, and the recent geopolitical shift has only strengthened its resolve to maintain its strategic foothold on the island. The US sees Greenland as a critical asset in its broader efforts to maintain global stability, especially in light of Russia's increasing presence in the Arctic. However, Russia is not backing down. As global tensions rise, Russia has continued to build military infrastructure in the Arctic, including expanding its presence in the Barents Sea and other areas close to Greenland. This growing militarization of the region has raised concerns in the US and Europe, prompting calls for stronger defenses in the Arctic. Greenland, with its proximity to both North America and Russia, has become a key battleground for influence in this new Cold War-era power struggle. China, too, has set its sights on Greenland. While its focus has traditionally been on economic expansion, particularly through its Belt and Road Initiative, China's growing interest in the Arctic cannot be ignored. With its increasing investment in Arctic shipping routes and infrastructure projects, China is positioning itself as a major player in the region. Greenland's vast mineral wealth, including rare earth elements and oil, is particularly enticing for China's expanding technological industries. Greenland's place on the global stage has never been more significant. From its ice sheet to its strategic location, the island is at the heart of a new geopolitical contest. What do you think the future holds for Greenland? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to check out our other videos for more insights into this fascinating topic.